Hi and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how we can use gardening and plants to help us when we're going through times of low mood. We all go through times of low mood in our lives at various stages, some of us more than others, and some it's when we're young, sometimes mid-years, sometimes much older. I'm someone who's suffered from low mood, depression and things like that throughout the years, from being a teenager really, and Paul has as well. So it's not something that we should be ashamed of, and it's something that people do need to talk more about. My interest in all of this, certainly with plants and gardening, my gardening experiences stem from childhood, from being a toddler on my nan's lawn, just around the corner from here near the field. And she taught me everything that I know about gardening, but I just loved that being outside on the lawn, you know, sitting up, crawling around, just sat talking. And I just loved how that experience of being outside made me feel. It made me feel free. It provided me with freedom, and I think that's something that a garden or any kind of open space can do for all of us. When we go through times of low mood, it's easy sometimes to shut ourselves away, and that's not the best thing. Not only do we need to talk to other people about how we're feeling, it's also really important that we get out of the house and into the garden. Now, at various times in life, we've lived in different circumstances ourselves, and there's been times when we had not very much of a garden, or a balcony garden in Manchester. We've had a cottage garden, we've had all kinds of gardens, and now we're here with a very beautiful garden. But the moral of the story is sometimes you don't always have access to a garden. I know that when we were students, after living in halls, and we rented a house in Sheffield, and literally it was a bit of a yard space. We did put a fence up ourselves, we paid for a fence to be put up, but literally it was just a small yard space. There was nothing you could do there but put a few pots out. I don't think we even did that, if I remember correctly, so it's probably the only time in life where we didn't really have a garden. But because we were in Sheffield, we had lots of open spaces. We had access to so many areas, so many parks, so many, the wilderness was literally on our doorstep, or not far away. And I think that's the point that I'm trying to make, that even if you have a massive garden, then that's great. You can get yourself outside, immerse yourself with plants. If you've got a lawn, you can spend time cutting the lawn. Sometimes I find that therapeutic, just to get outside with a lawnmower, cut the lawn. Sometimes deadheading, although I've not been doing much of that lately, so that's a good sign. But what I think is really, really important is that no matter what size of space you have, or even if you live in an apartment with no garden and just windows, it doesn't matter. You still can enjoy plants, you can enjoy gardening, you can enjoy the trees, you can enjoy just being amongst nature. If you wanted to do gardening, there are groups that you can join. There are volunteer groups, places looking for volunteers that need gardeners to come in and help out. There are allotment groups where people set up sort of like a cooperative, where people come together to grow vegetables and plants as well, and sharing their experiences, talk, have a cup of tea, coffee, cake, whatever it is. It's fantastic just to get out there. You might wish to do that solo. You might wish to be away from people and not like the idea of people knowing your business and talking to you. You just need a bit of time out. And I think the best thing to do in that situation is to get yourself out there. There are so many botanical gardens in cities, in towns. You have parks, you have masses of open spaces where you can just get out and enjoy being amongst nature. And I think it's really important to do that. Doesn't matter what your circumstances are, there's a place for you out there. And I can tell you now, and I know that Paul would say the same thing, on our journeys, having gone through some quite difficult times in life, myself, and Paul has, but some very difficult times I've been through. And the outdoors has always been there for me. just to appreciate being amongst nature, being amongst plants and trees. And quite often now, I've got a beautiful garden here, I will still go out for walks because I just like to be amongst nature. I like to see the trees, I like to see the sun shining, you know, even in autumn and winter, I like to see the trees with no leaves on and just walk around and experience that cold, crisp air and just enjoy being outside. It does you the power of good. Medication's important for things like depression, but even if it's just a case of, you know, feeling a bit of a low mood, the best thing that you can do is get outside. If you're new to gardening, or you see this video and you're interested in gardening and you think, wow, you know, I'm not really much of a gardener, everything seems to die on me, I don't know very much about it. It's something that you can get into slowly. The thing is with gardening, I know there's a lot of people out there, you know, that sometimes make you feel as though they know everything and you know very little. That's not helpful, because we're all learning as gardeners. Nobody knows everything, and that's the same for everything in life. Nobody knows everything. We're all learning. We're all on a learning. It's basically a book. I always say this, I've always said it, about chapters in a book. You know, you're born, it's chapter 1. You know, whenever we're no longer here, depends on our allotted time, but these chapters in the book are important. You get one chance at this life, and it's important to do things that make you happy. And if you're not feeling great, it's important to try and help yourself to feel better where possible. And, you know, it's just great to get out there. It's always been something very special to me just to be outside, just to be in a garden. You know, I took over Mum and Dad's garden when I was 8 years old because I was so passionate. My nana taught me so much. I was inspired by her garden. She had a little brook at the back of the fence. As I say, it's just around the corner. And that really inspired me. But it was a safe place for me. It was a place where I felt safety and love, just to be outside with nature, to hear the birds, to see the flowers. But as I say, it's not just about the summer when all those beautiful, gorgeous blooms are out like the ones around me now. It's also about the winter. And our seasons, the seasons as gardeners, are the seasons of life as well. So we have the spring, so we're born, we have the spring, with the summer, we have the autumn, or fall, then we have the winter. And that's very much like life in these chapters in the book that I talk about, and the book is our life. I just believe, and I'm passionate about this, that plants, gardens, outdoor spaces, they are so important to our mental health, to good mental health, now more than what they've ever been in history. So much going on in the world, and sometimes it can seem a little bit daunting, or some of the things that are occurring, but we can light our corner of the planet by doing things that make us happy. And that's what we do. It's important to get out there, to get in the fresh air. It's great, gardening's great exercise, okay? Fantastic exercise, but it's great for the mind as well. It's just great to be out amongst nature. And as I say, I've got a beautiful garden here, but I'll still go for walks. I still love visiting other gardens. One of my favourite things to do is to go and film, go with Paul, to film other gardens. And, you know, there'll be more of that going on in the future, but I've got quite a lot of videos already on that. But that's something that I really enjoy to do, because I like going to see other people's gardens and seeing what they're doing there. It's great to show you all what we're doing and what, you know, our space is like, but I like to see what other people are up to as well, and share through images that enthusiasm, their enthusiasm. And I think it's one of those things where gardening or being outdoors, you know, you don't have to be a great gardener or to be really that interested in gardening, but being with plants and nature and trees, everything, the whole shebang, is so important for good mental health, great mental health. But I just think that it's something we should all do more. You know, there's so many things now with so much technology, and we're there in our phones scrolling through social media, we're, you know, playing games, we're doing all kinds of stuff now, and it's not just children that are doing this, we're talking of adults, and that's the way that we live now, or so many of us live, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we do need to remember the things that matter in life. You know, firstly ourselves, our loved ones, but also we've got to keep that mental health up, that great mental health that I keep talking about, and it's just so important. The sun's just come out and that's lovely. That is so nice. But again, if I was sat inside the house now, I wouldn't be talking to you, but I also wouldn't have experienced the sun coming back out on me. So it just shows how wonderful life can be and how wonderful life is. And like I say, with all what's going on in the world, we need to illuminate our corner, light it, and do things that make us happy and keep us in a really great place. As I say, the benefits of exercise, many people go to gyms, they do running, they do cycling, etc., etc. Paul cycles quite often to work and back. That's great, that's fantastic, but sometimes you need just that time to sit out and chill in a relaxing space, or just to walk. I think walking's so good, and I just think, I mean, in a garden, certainly even a garden this size, there's lots to do, and that keeps us busy and keeps me busy, but it's nice to just also occasionally just sit down, because as gardeners, I do say this, we've said this in other videos as well, as gardeners what we tend to do is work ourselves into a frenzy, because you see something that needs doing and you're on it straight away, and sometimes it's nice just to take a step back, to sit back and relax and enjoy the peace and quiet. It doesn't have to be peace and quiet, there can be anything going on around it, just enjoy being outdoors amongst plants, and as I say, one of my things that I like to do sometimes is just cut the lawn. I find that so relaxing, honestly. It's bizarre really, but I do find it relaxing. And just to, sometimes I'll sit, and I used to do this as a child as well, it's quite interesting. I'm just looking across here at these lovely flowers, and I'm just thinking, I just love to just sit staring at the different colours. So beautiful red and orange, I like vibrant colours. And I could quite happily be sat out here and just stare at these for a few minutes and just stare at the flowers, literally. I appreciate life, I appreciate what's going on around me, the plants that we've grown, and I just love it. I think it's the best thing for all of us. So the purpose of the video is just that, it's just to encourage people to come outside and to enjoy outdoor spaces more, and to say that you don't have to have a mansion with land around it to be able to enjoy a garden. You can enjoy the smallest space. As I say, we had a balcony in Manchester. It was filled with plants, clothed with plants. Even Ben, our Bengal cat son, used to go out onto the balcony and love a bit of freedom out there. You appreciate what you have, but there is also more. You know, ask somebody that you know, can you go and visit and spend some time in the garden, and go and see other people's gardens, see what they're doing, the people that you know, the people that you work with. It's so interesting just to see what's going on. And that's the thing about gardeners, they're very generous, sharing seeds, sharing plants, and I think this is perfect for gardeners, because we can share not just our knowledge, not just our plants, but we can also share our gardens as well. I had a neighbour before, I was talking to her on the front, and I invited her round the back just to come and see the garden, because she's lived around here a very, very long time, before I was born. We've both known her all our lives, and yet she was so happy to come into the garden and see what's going on. And I think that's just what it's about. It's about we can share our own gardens with each other as well. Now, I think I've covered virtually everything I wanted to with this video. It's just something that's very important, not just to myself, but to Paul as well, because, you know, we do know what it's like to suffer from these bouts of low mood, and it's just important to know that A, we're not alone, so you're not alone, and that there's, first of all, you need to talk to people about how you feel, and if you're not feeling great, it's always important to talk to people about it. Always talk, there's always help out there, okay? And if it's just general low mood, get yourself outside, get yourself into the garden, and see what half an hour, a couple of hours, or 2 or 3 hours does for you, okay? Because that's what's important. And I bet for the most part, it certainly works with me. It does just a treat. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it the thumbs up, and also drop any comments in the comments box below as usual. Please also subscribe, very much appreciated. Take care. It's totally free to subscribe as well, by the way. Take care, and we will definitely see you very soon on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks.